Hey, Mark, I've heard anecdotal stories about in Florida trying to get the hope that they could get a place in line to get this vaccine. Not all of them did. I've also heard the governor of Ohio talk about how only 60% of the workers in some of these long-term health care facilities are offering to take this. I'm sorry, 60% are saying no thanks. Only 40% would actually step up and say yes, they want to take it. So it's a question not only of getting this rolled out, but trying to figure out who wants it and who doesn't. And that's a difficult task.
Again, that's the issue with just having a centralized approach and administering and targeting the vaccine where it needs to be, when it needs to be. I have two family members, one in Michigan and one in Arizona, who have already had their vaccines delayed in facilities by 2 weeks. They were supposed to get it this week. They're now told 2 weeks from now. This pace is not going to work.
Again, we had somebody who is from President-elect Biden's commission on yesterday laying out some of these problems, but I didn't understand what the plan is to do differently. They said that they were going to still let the states run things, but there would be a more centralized approach. But that's not really detailed on any way, shape, or form, and it doesn't give me a whole lot of faith that things are going to get fixed in the next month.
I don't think it's going to be a quick solution. I think what needs to happen is they have to stand back and look at the database, look at what information is available at the federal level, understand how to pull it all together as quickly as possible. Now, the great news here, just like we have great pharma companies that have developed vaccines for us, we also have great logistics companies that could come in and help us build this database instead of the federal government building it. If you look back at the rollout of the ACA, we had all sorts of issues because the government wanted to build it themselves. And so I think we need to turn to these companies, and their names are well known, and say to them, what can you do to give us the kind of technology we need to manage this process and move quicker? Otherwise, I'm in the same place you are. I'm very nervous that we're not going to get this out quick enough, and we're going to have a lot more cases, a lot more full ICUs in hospitals, and a lot more deaths.
Here's my question. You think that you could get that database built and put together before we keep hoping there's going to be a point where there's more vaccines around than there are people who want to take it? We keep hoping that there's going to be a glut of vaccines by next spring sometime if you get J&J also getting theirs approved, if AstraZeneca's vaccine is also approved here in the United States. What do you think?
Well, think about this. Multiple vaccines with multiple regimens, right? The Pfizer vaccine is 3 weeks, give or take 4 days. The Moderna vaccine is 4 weeks. Some vaccines will be only one shot. And so who do we know gets what when, and how do we get the follow-up done to get the second dose for people that need it to that place at the right time and administered? And how do we know what happened? So we could have people out there partially or not appropriately immunized, walking around thinking they are. And that's, again, why we need to do this. And so the more vaccines we have, the more complicated the problem, the more multivariate the problem. And I think that is something that has to be arrested. I think we can do it. We have companies that do this all the time. I've worked with them. And I believe that if we call on them and their CEOs and get them in the room and say, how can we make this all work together? This could be done quickly.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.